Alright, the rain's passed us by. It's actually pretty nice right now. I try and get this hole drilled through. So I got a 5.5 inch wall, 2x6 wall. That should be the center. And measured from the inside, my steps are over here is where they start. So I should be good to go. And then this line, if you can see it, this should be the bottom plate. Right inside here, I measured off where it starts at. So I hope that's pretty close. I looked back at the plans when I framed this wall, and I should have an anchor bolt should be over here, not over here, because right here is a stud, and right here is a stud. And if everything is correct, my anchor bolt is in this bay. Should be. I hope it is. Because if it's in this bay, I'm going to hit it, and that would be a problem. Can't go anywhere this way, I can't go anywhere that way. That's where it's got to be, so I got to make it work somehow. I can't go up because that stair inside comes across right above here. So really that's the only shot I've got to make this work. Using the corded drill, and I really hate using this thing because it will rip your hand off. It'll catch the wood and whip on you and just snap your wrist, and it really hurts. But once I get through the outside and through the foam, after I go through the stringer, the step stringer or stair stringer, and maybe another piece of wood, and I want to be able to have the power, and hopefully I won't hurt myself. Ow! Look at that. Broke the bit. So I told you these had power. Snap that bit right off. Good thing I really had it held firm, but well, hope I've got another bit. Alright, luckily I've got a spare. I think I may have another drill bit too in case this one breaks. I was even going slow. I don't know. Alright, try this again. Oh, that's good. Okay. I don't know if this will work. So I could figure out how to get the bit way up inside there. I've got a bit extension, but I don't think it'll work. That is just a 11/32 socket on there. So hopefully that will work and not break on me. Oh, that is so close. Oh my lord. Wow. Uh-oh, that's my trim. I'm not sure what I just drilled through. Okay. So I'm right on the edge of that trim piece. I think if I didn't center this in the wall, I would have been better off, but this is literally as close as I can get. I should be hitting nails here pretty soon. Huh?
I didn't know you were still going to do it tonight. I thought you were going to do it.
No, the rain seems to be gone and it's cooled off, so. That's so close.
So
That's it.
those are all the those are the ones that the lady who's teaching it did. You
Okay.
see all hers are off too.
Yeah, hers all crooked.
Yeah. So.
Yep. Natalie's doing soap challenges.
Oh.
No, I am like right. I'm like.
Are you talking to me?
No, well, what?
Who
Now?
are you talking to? You talking to me now? Or are you talking
Yeah,
to
I said I'm so close. I'm like on that kick plate.
Oh, yeah, don't mess it up.
Well, I'm done now.
Okay,
It's
good.
in there, but I thought I would have gone through a nail, but I don't. I'm sure I did go through
It
one.
feels really good out. You need to cool the garage off. It's like a sauna in there.
I thought it was nice when I came out, but boy, it feels pretty muggy all of a sudden again.
All right, that's pretty good. The house is muggy.
Yep. I just gotta get that out of there. But my hole went through okay. There we go. So I'll have 4 conduits coming out, and they'll go dive down into the slab. And I'll get that's how I'm gonna get my radiant tubing out into the addition. When it comes to power, I'll run the power probably through the laundry room, and then out through there through the ceiling, since it's all drop ceiling in there. Yep. But glad that's done. Okay, I'm under the stairs, and you can see right there, that's where my pipe comes through at. You can see how close I got to the riser. I'm really like right on it. They even cut out the stringer clear up to it. So that was just a luck. And I measured it off. Thought I had more distance than that, but I didn't. And luckily it worked out okay, because there's no other way to get that line out there. So I'm gonna go ahead and run the pipe that I ran in here over to those connections right there. And I should be able to disconnect those and then just run a straight pipe into it. This first loop is the one I had to roll out and measure, and I'm hoping that I'll have enough length to get back. I worked into the system an extra turn, and that will give me another, I think it was 10 or 12 feet. So if I get back to this side and I'm short, I can take that loop out, and it's not really going to affect anything inside the house, and then I should be able to get it run all the way back so I don't have any splices anywhere is the goal. I got that second line run now, and these are the lead lines for the living room and the dining room, and I'll run the returns in the same manner. Probably, see, this is the dining room, this is the living room, so I'll probably run the return dining room down here and the return living room up on top. I'll just swing over and connect onto there. Gotta close all those off to get my pressure gauges on, but first we gotta do is to run all the tubing outside. Well, Barry's helped me unroll the wire, and you have to unroll the wire. You cannot pull the wire out. This is what happens. Big old knot. So he started to, I told him to unroll the wire or unroll the tubing out into the yard as much as he can. And I looked up and he had just grabbed one in and started walking. So now we got this big old jumbled up mess. Got some boxes for the girls. Of course, if we got boxes, that must mean we bought something. I'll show you that later. Who are you moving?
A dead body.
Or are you just taking out the trash?
Yeah. This body ain't dead yet.
Aren't dead yet. Well, I think I pretty much got everything taken care of out here. And this area where the insulation's at, this goes outside into the sunroom. And then the storm shelter is right there. So you wouldn't have any heating lines underneath the storm shelter. I had to do that one only because I knew this line was short and I had to make sure I could get it inside. And then this loop right here is the one I talked about earlier, where for some reason I don't have enough slack inside. I can bump this back a little bit to get where I needed. It's where I need to be, where I don't have to splice it inside. But this is all done and ready now. I'll just sit here for a little less than a week before they pour. So I just got to button up the inside and then pressurize the line, and that'll be it. And it's just waiting. I've got a leak somewhere. I finished running all my lines this morning, got everything piped in over here to the manifold, and somewhere I have a leak. I found one leak in this pipe, so I replaced it. It was a white one like that, and I'm thinking maybe that one's leaking too. You can see that line running down the side. It could be leaking right inside there. Not quite sure. I can get it to about 30 pounds, and then that's it. And all I'm just using is this little Ryobi I don't know, air pump there. It does good, but it takes a while, so I'm going to switch over to the bubble air tank. It's got 120 pounds in it now, so I should pump that up pretty quick and hope I can find out where my leak is. It would make sense that it's somewhere in here, although I can't hear any air blowing out. If it happens to be somewhere in the lines, that's just going to be awful. So hopefully it's going to be right here. I'm really hoping it's just this one. I can air this up, find a leak, and get it taken care of fast. There we go. Big old bubble forming right there. I was getting worried. That's literally the last joint that I tested. I was starting to think I'm gonna have to go outside and really start looking for a leak. Good news, but bad news. Good news, I found it. Gotta clean it up and pressurize it. Hopefully that'll be it. Nope, got this piece off and realized the problem. This is meant to go on like a faucet, and this is not. This has a flat surface. This is made for a beveled surface, so all this is just brass hitting brass. There's no real way to seal that up. I could probably throw on some Teflon tape and maybe some pipe sealant, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get that tight enough to seal up and hold 60 pounds. So they had a different fitting at Home Depot, which I should have bought. It was 10 bucks, and I thought, well, I don't need it because I've got this. I even tested it at the store, but didn't even think about the style of fitting this is. So I may have to go back to the store and get that. In the meantime, I'll try and get that drywall piece up. Alright, a little bit of digging through the garage, and I found the piece I needed. This is actually the exact same piece I was going to buy at Home Depot earlier. So I should be able to just nip this one off. Push that on like so, and we should be good to go now. I hope. We'll find out shortly. See if we can get her above 30 pounds. Still leaking somewhere. Found my leak. Not quite sure. Oh, that's mice. Yep, that's my mouse chewing on that when it was in the shed. Well, looks like I'm going to have a joint underneath my concrete now. Well, this is the only one I found so far. This tube had been held in our shed for a while, and clearly, even though it was up on the top shelf in the very top part of the shed, clearly some mice got through and chewed it up. But luckily I've got enough, should have enough slack. I should be able to get this off. And not quite sure how much pressure is still on this line. I wish I had seen that when I was putting this in, because this was off the large spool. Could have turned it around. It had another 300 feet. I'm not quite sure how to splice this. All I'm using is a brass fitting, just normal fitting like you would on a water line. And this is really in a bad spot too, because it's on the edge. So it's going to be almost right underneath the wall. In fact, it may be right underneath a window. So if this doesn't work, it leaks. We'll be in some serious trouble. We will not be able to use this line, most likely. I doubt I'll be able to fix it. I don't really know how copper reacts with lime and the other ingredients that's in concrete. But I saw online people fixing it this way, so maybe it'll work. I don't know. I wonder if wrapping it in aluminum tape would keep anything from happening, or at least prevent it for a little while. I don't know. cut right where the hole was at, but you can see that mouse has just chewed right through that sucker. I guess it's better to find it now than down the road and get water in it and then it pops a leak. So I may go through and just kind of visually inspect all the lines, see if I have any more. I'm going to go ahead and pressurize it again and see if anything else pops. Alright, it's got her pumped up to just over 60 pounds and looks like it's holding this time. It's too bad that splice wasn't on the inside. That would have been great because it would have been easy to monitor. But it's just in a really bad spot. Well, I wrapped some aluminum tape around that, and the only purpose for this is just to try and keep any fluid from the concrete from hitting that brass and then those copper fittings. I don't know if this will work. This is pretty hokey, but the more I think about this, this is such a bad place to have a break, because this is the main line coming from the house. This is the first line that gets heated, so this is going to be one of the hottest points in the line. You know, as it goes through, it loses temperature. So if it had happened over here somewhere, you know, like let's say if it happened right there, at least that's inside the house where I could cut out a patch and then, or cut out a piece of the concrete and then get to it. But here, you know, I've got a 5.5 inch wall right here, which is basically right on the edge of this line, and this is on the heating side, so this is just a horrible place to have a break. I'm really debating about pulling the whole thing up, and I don't really want to do that. But chances are this will be fine. This room's going to have the wood fireplace, and we'll have rugs down and stuff. The main reason why you heat the floor is, one, concrete gets really cold in the winter time, and it's just uncomfortable. The radiant heat just kind of like everything just feels warm. This being a room that's just kind of a bonus room. Mainly we're building this because if Natalie and I live here, as long as we hope to live here, we're not going to be able to do those stairs forever. And then by that time, Barry will be gone, the kids would have moved out, and then the whole upstairs isn't going to get used a whole lot except for guests. But this whole main level will have the kitchen, I have a living room, and we'll have a bedroom. So it'll be it should be work for us until we're too old to move around. But I don't know, I wish this break wasn't here, but nothing I can do about it now. And looking online, there's not a whole lot of information about it, but it seems like this is how you splice them. So we'll go with the flow and see what happens and hope it'll hold together. I probably won't know for 5 years or so if this breaks, but maybe that time won't matter. I don't know, we'll see. I got that piece of drywall up. Natalie wanted out there because people come down the stairs, things would fall through the steps, and she's got this all full of food. Things would fall on her food, so this keeps everything basically sliding down to that far end where it's open. She had a piece of plastic up here before, and it just really wasn't cutting it. My pressure is still holding good, just over 60. So it's only been maybe half an hour, but it's better than it was before. I aired up, you could just see it going down, so I think we're good on holes anyways. The pressure that the boiler system actually creates is very low. I got 60 pounds of pressure in there right now, and we're only talking about, you know, probably 10 to 15 is all that's going to be on the system when it's at full heat, so it's not a big deal. I think if there are any potential holes out there that they'll hold, won't have any issues if that mouse happened to chew a thin spot that I didn't catch when I walked through and checked all the pipes. So I feel pretty confident about that. I'm going to measure off from the house to where I did that splice, And then that way, if for some reason in the future I ever do get a leak, at least I know where potentially it's at, in case I ever do decide to fix it. So I've got a set of master plans from when I designed the house and drew everything out, where I mark all these little things at, where I can go back and reference them later. But this area is done. Now I can go ahead and get all of her pantry food and stuff back in here and load it back up. And then again, we're just gonna wait for the pour to happen, and then I can go ahead and get the lines set up all the way. Once I know that they've poured and didn't damage the lines, I don't have any holes in the system, then I'll be good to go ahead and fill it and charge it, and then wait for winter to happen. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to put fluid in there or not. It'll have glycol in it to keep it from freezing, but if that space isn't done, then there's no real point to be heating it. So I may just leave the tubes empty until we're actually finished to the point we can use it, which may not happen this winter. My goal is to get it enclosed this winter, but we may not actually be using it this winter. But I don't know. We'll see. Things change. So I did a bit of research online last night on the effects of cement mixed with things like aluminum, brass, and copper. And it pretty much says don't do them at all, especially aluminum, because aluminum and the cement gets together and actually makes hydrogen gas, I think it was. So the patch I did yesterday has got me a little concerned. The copper, it said, will wear down over time, which of course I don't want that. Some people are saying, well, it'll be 5 years before you have a problem. Some people say it'll be 10 years before you have a problem. I don't have a problem at all. So I've kind of changed up what I'm doing here. So I'm going to take off the aluminum tape. I've got to leave my brass fitting and my copper collars, but then I took a 1-inch piece of PEX that I had laying around. I'm going to slide this over and I'm going to duct tape it, because the one thing that I had read basically says that once the concrete's dry, it's fine. It's just when it's first poured and it's wet and it's curing and things like that, that's the critical stage. Because once it's dry and there's no moisture to get into it, it's not a big deal. So basically this just needs to keep that joint dry and keep the cement out of it for a couple hours, basically, until it hardens to the point where it's not going to be, I guess it'll be longer than that because it'll be evaporating still. But anyways, I think this will work out a lot better. So I've just got to cut that aluminum tape off, slip the sleeve on that I made, and I'll just duct tape around it, and that seems like the best option now. I've got that all put back together and 2 layers of duct tape back and forth on it and zip tied up. So hopefully that'll work better than what I was doing before. And then tonight I'm going to come back out and shoot elevations again with laser level when it gets dark, because it just seems to me like with the little bit of rain we definitely had cooler temperatures. I think that things have moved a little bit. I'm sure my corners are fine. I just think the elevation, I think things have pushed up and down. Just eyeballing it, it looks like it doesn't look level anymore. So I'll run that over tonight, and just another thing to do.